Last class we have example for HTML. This is our first web page. This class will explain the meanings of those code. HTML is all about elements. What means elements? So let's look back this example. HTML is an element. For an element, we have this is called a start tag. This is called a close tag. And we also have some content. So the whole, this part, we start with this. We start with HTML. We close with slash HTML. And all those sections are one element. We also have other elements. Like say here we have a head element. So we have for head element we have a start tag, we have a close tag, slash, and those are content. And inside this element we have a title element. For title we start with title. This content we close with slash and title. Again the body, the same is the element. We start with close. The P means paragraph. Paragraph will start with close. So we can say this HTML is all about elements. Inside the element, we have tags. We also have content. Sometimes we have an element that is called empty element. That's because we only have open tag. We don't have a closed tag. We will have example for this one. In our example, HTML is called root element because for each HTML file, we always have this. We start with HTML, we close with it. So that's root element. And the head and the body are structural here. Those are structural, means say we have a head section. For example, here we have the head section, we have the body section. We put some content inside the section. So we call head and body are structural section. And sometimes we start HTML with this. This tells the computer we are coding HTML. The type of document is HTML. So computer can process the file more fast because we already know it's HTML. And UNI, even though the case doesn't matter, but UNI we always use no case. Today we'll learn more elements. Here we have the emphasis, EM. We have heading, H1 to H6. H1 is the biggest, H6 is the smallest. We have a stronger emphasis, strong. We have a smaller text, small, or horizontal line. Let's see the example here. So let's copy those code, just select all those code. We start with this type and HTML. We click the right button of the mouse and copy. Then we start Notepad++. We get a new file. We just post the code here. Once we do this, we need to save those code as a file. So save it. Here, very important. We need to select the type. The default type is text. So we need to choose HTML here. Then you can save it any way you want. Once we save it, we can run it. So let's run it in Firefox. We can compare the code with our web page. You can say HTML and head and body, those are structural, so it does influence the content. So we start with here with this paragraph next inside the body. So for the head section, we only use for like a title. Here we have the title, like a title. My first web page is a title. and the content is we put the content inside the body section. You can say the body section will have a content here. And the hello is the first paragraph. We close it. EM will emphasize the word. That's why we get the italic word, because we use EM. So we start with EM, and this is the content, and we close it. Means for this range, we want the italic. And the H1 means heading 1 is the largest. And the here we have mistake. This is supposed to be H1. Save it. We need to reload the code. It's the same. So H1 is the largest, and the H6 is the smallest heading. So we have between H1 and H4, we have H2, H3, H5. So the size just between smaller than H1 but bigger than H6. HR, remember we're just talking empty element. So we only have one tag because it's a line. So we close for itself. Let's say copy again. We want two line. So HR slash again, save it, and the right button reload. You can see we have two lines because we have two HR. And here we have a paragraph again P. We close it. Inside the paragraph, say we need water and food. So the water is bold because we use strong. So strong, we start it, we close it, and the content between the start and close become bold. And for the food, you can say we use small tag, start and close it. So you can say the size of the food is a little small than others. That's about a small element. So when you do the coding, if it doesn't work, you need to compare the code. Sometimes, like say, if you type in title, you may type in forget something, like say you type like this way. Then HTML doesn't work. So if something happens, you need to check your spending. We also can use several elements together. For example, here the word is italic. How about we also want strong? So we put a strong here. And where should we close it? We should close and here. Slash. So because we close here means say those content are strong. Let's save it and run it. Reload. You can say it's italic and also strong. So the right way is we can start with emphasis or small. Either way is okay. But we cannot do it with this one. Let's say we start with this one. But we close it also first. That will cause confused because for the small, we couldn't find close inside the EM. So if we want to start with EM, we need to close it and end. If we want to start with small, we should close and move outside. We cannot do in this way. That is